everyone. Hello, everyone. I wanted to do a quick Zoom meeting training just so that we're all kind of on the same page about Zoom and its different features that it offers. Um, and this is very informal, so if you have any questions that I don't cover, just let me know. But in order to use Zoom, you are going to go to your browser and you're going to open up a new window and you're going to go to tulane.zoom.us and it will ask you to sign in, and you're going to use your Tulane credentials to sign in. And then you are given this dashboard. So just to kind of go over the different elements that they give you, you have the download center here. I never really use that. You have the Zoom Help Center, which if you ever have a question, you can kind of click on there, and it will give you all of these different resources that you can and should use. There's this Join a Meeting button. So if you know that there's a meeting going on and you have the code, you can type in the meeting ID here. Or you have Host a Meeting option. And so with the Host a Meeting option, you can choose with a video off or with a video on, and then you have your sign out. So there's lots of different entry pages and ways to get into a Zoom call. So this is another way you might see this screen. So if you do see this screen, just click here, Tulane account login, and it will ask you to sign on if you're not. You also have this navigation toolbar here. So you have your profile. You can add your picture if you want. You have a section for meetings, and so you can see all the meetings that I have scheduled here or that you have scheduled. You can see your previous meetings. You have a personal meeting room, and so this is basically it's your instant meeting. So you can always use this URL here, and you can have a quick Zoom meeting. You can copy the invitation, which I always find really useful. And you can copy meeting invitation here, and then you can go into your email, and then you can either send it via email or you can go into your calendar and you can copy and paste that meeting invite here and just hit save and close. Whenever doing locations, you can always just say Zoom here, and then that way it's nice and clean. So always just remember, if you're not seeing something, there are usually these toggles that are over here that could be missed. If you want to start a meeting, you can also click on the Start Meeting button here, and then it will automatically launch a meeting for you. Going back to Zoom, on this navigation toolbar, you have webinars. And so this says, what is a webinar? Zoom video webinars allow you to easily conduct large online events with video, audio, and screen sharing for up to 100 video participants and 10,000 attendees. So this would probably be a great way for us to, if we wanted to do an synchronous scholar symposium, or if you want to get a bunch of student groups together, this is a great way to do that. So the webinar is different from meetings because webinars is tailored for managing large audiences. I have never used this, and it doesn't really look like Tulane is giving us a ton of options here. So if you want to kind of see what our limitations are, let me know, and I will ask Tulane if we're given this feature. There is this recording section, and this is where your recordings will live. If you have cloud recordings, they will show up here, meaning it's saved in Tulane Zoom system, so it's saved here. You can download the files, you can delete the files, you can click here, and you can see the recording itself. You can share your recording here. You also have settings options. Actually, let me go back to recordings. You can also save recordings locally. And so I have a recording here. You can see that this recording is in my documents. So if I go to my documents and I click here, you can see that there is Zoom here, and you have the option to click audio only, playback, or you can click here, which is an MP4, and then you can play your Zoom video locally, which means on your computer. So you have some options there. I would suggest doing cloud recordings, but just know that if it's going to be a longer recording, then you probably want to do it locally. By long, I mean like more than an hour. All right, so now we have settings. So you can change your meeting settings. You can change your recording settings here. And so you have some options. So for example, it's going to record the active speaker with the share screen, or you can record the gallery view, which we'll go over soon. You can do a record only file. You can save the chat messages. You can add timestamps. So you have a lot of options here, and you can get to that in settings and the recording. You also have some telephone settings. Let's see here. You have an account profile, which is really not much that you're going to use. And then you have a report section, which also I really don't see you using too much. So let's say you want to host a meeting. We're going to do that here. But I also, before I do that, I want to draw your attention to this attend live training, video tutorials, and knowledge base. These are, again, supports for you to be able to use if you get stuck. So you have videos here about how to join a meeting, how to schedule a meeting, pretty much anything that you want to learn, it's here. Again, I'm always a resource for you. Let's see here. So let's host a meeting. You have the option to host with video off or with video on. I'm going to choose with video on. And so whenever you are using Zoom, there's always, you have to download something. It's already downloaded on my computer, so I'm just going to click open zoom.us. And then my meeting will turn on. I'm going to choose join with computer audio. And then you can see it says you are using the computer audio. I'm going to close out. I'm going to end this meeting real quick because I want to show you how to schedule a meeting if you were, in the future. So I'm going to end this meeting, end meeting for all. I want to go to Zoom. Again, click on the Tulane account login. And then I'm going to go to meetings, and I'm going to schedule a new meeting. So I can name my meeting whatever I want. Test run. And then you can write a little description. You have your when, you have your duration, you have your central time zone. You can make this a reoccurring meeting, so you have daily, weekly, monthly, and no fixed time options. You can make your participants register. This might be a good way to kind of make names consistent. But again, it's adding an extra layer of complexity, so choose, do that based off of how much you want to troubleshoot. Meeting ID, you can use your personal meeting ID, or you can just generate automatically. I would just leave that defaulted. You can click here and have a meeting password, and you can change that password if you would like. Here, this section is about video. So what this says is that defaulted, the host video will always be on and the participants video will always be on, and that they have to choose whether or not to turn it off. If you're dealing with people who you're not sure if they have webcams or if they have microphones on their computers, which most people at Newcomb should have computer audio, and in fact, I think all should have computer audio. But if not, it's always good to provide the telephone and computer audio option, and you can change this if you want a different dial. a different phone number from different countries. But this is kind of just always your safe option, the telephone and computer audio. You also have the option to enable join before host, and what this means is that your participants can get into the meeting space before you have joined. If you disable this, then it means that they have to wait until you log in and that you enter your meeting space before anyone else can. You also have the option to mute participants upon entry. I would suggest not doing this because it could add a layer of confusion if you have people who are not tech savvy. But if you know that everyone's pretty tech savvy, or if you're doing like a webinar, like a meeting where you don't really want people talking, and you think it would be disruptive if people are chiming in, maybe mid-meeting, then go ahead and click that mute participants. You can also enable a little waiting room that has where people wait before they join the meeting. You can also make it so that only authenticated users can join, so that means they have to have that single sign-on to Zoom. And then this is the important part. You can record the meeting automatically. So if you're going to do a recording, I suggest clicking here and going through this way. You have the choice of on the local computer in the cloud. I'm going to choose the cloud. And then you have alternative host. So from my experience, it is hit or miss if participants can share their screens. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. So I'm going to suggest that if you know that you want somebody to be able to host the meeting, so let's say Laura and Julie both want hosting options, then you can put in both the other person's email here, and then they can share screen, they can end the meeting, they can have all the controls. So you have two people controlling the meeting. And both of those people are able to control the recording. They're also able to screen share. So if you're teaching and you have multiple presentations going on in that class, you can put different students' emails here so that they maybe can share their screen. So once you have all this set up, you're going to hit save. And then I'm the host, so I'm going to start this meeting. Again, you have your invitations that you can copy. You also have your criteria. So I'm going to go ahead and start this meeting. Open in Zoom. All right, and so I'm going to join with computer audio because I have a microphone on my computer. And you can see here it says I'm using my computer audio, and I have my screen in full screen. So here I just kind of wanted to go over the screen itself with you. You have this option to mute so you have the option to mute yourself. I always use this option if I'm not talking and other people are talking, so I'll mute myself, and so you can see here it says unmute. You also have this arrow here, and so if you feel like you can't hear something or you're not being heard, check here to make sure that your built-in microphone is being used and to make sure that your built-in speakers are being used. If you're using an external microphone or an external speaker, they should show up here. You can also test your speakers and your microphone. Or you can switch to phone audio. And so what that means is you can dial in using your phone. You can dial in using your phone. So you can switch to phone audio and it will give you the number in which you can dial in. And then you have your meeting ID. So once you dial in, you'll put in that meeting ID and then the participant. So that's if your speakers aren't working or your microphone's not working. But again, I think the default is always to kind of hit unmute, or to mute yourself so that, people can't hear the background noise. Let's see here. You also have the option to stop your video, so you can do that here. And if you do that, your name will show up. And that's your name on your profile. And then you have the option to control your camera, and you can choose a virtual background. My Mac settings are not set up so that I can change my background, but if you have a certain level of Mac OS version, so it has to be 10.13. So if you have that, then you can have grass or a nice bridge or the world. So it's up to you. I'm just going to choose none. And then you can see here also you have other settings that you can explore here. I'm going to turn back on my video. If people are forgetful and they're not in the meeting and you're like, oh, or they're like, I don't see where the invite is, you can click here to invite, and you can go to email, and you can copy either the URL, or you can copy the invitation, either one, and then you can send that via email. Manage participants. This is where you're going to see all the different people who are on the call. And so I'm going to try to log in via my phone. There is a Zoom app available. I'm going to join a meeting. So I'm going to put in my meeting ID, and you can see here the meeting ID is right here. So in my phone, I am putting in 354 285 787. So I'm joining this meeting, and I want to show you what it looks like when there are multiple participants. So I'm going to let my little friend here be the second participant. Oh, so we're going to join with video. And then I have the option here on my phone. I don't know if you can see this, but you can call using internet audio, or you can dial in. All right. So you can see that my little friend here, he is on the video, and so you can see now there are 2 participants. There is my monkey friend via my phone, and then I am also on. And so I have the option as the host to stop monkey friend's video. I can make my friend the host. I can make him the co-host. I can rename this. I can put monkey on hold, or I can remove monkey from the meeting altogether. So you as the host have lots of options. From here, you can also see that we're recording. You can see that that we're muted, or you can rename. So lots of options to control here. You can mute all, unmute all, and then you can also have other controls. For example, you can choose to play a chime for any time that somebody enters or exits. You can lock the meeting so that no one can enter or exit. So, if people don't make it on time, too bad, they missed the meeting. Or you can mute participants on entry. So you have some different options there as the host. Another option that you have is share. So I can share what's on my desktop, and so this is the video screen. This is the Zoom meeting. I can share my web browser because, as you know, Macs have different desktop views. And so right now, within Zoom, I am sharing my my browser. And so you can see on my phone, I hope. Not very good at this. Well. Anyways, you can see that on my phone, I have, I can see my browser. All right. So, while I'm in share, the host decisions pop up here at the top. So you have all of the different options here. Okay, so I am tired of sharing my screen, so I'm going to say stop share. And so now you see monkey, he is there, I'm up here. So you have other options here. So I would suggest that you say only one participant can share at a time, but there is this option that I've never used for multiple participants who can share simultaneously. So they would be sharing multiple people would be sharing their screens. I'm guessing it does some sort of like quadrant where each screen is in a different quadrant, but I've never used it, so I don't know. And there is advanced sharing options. Let's click on that. So you have different options here. You can say like who can share. All participants can share. So this might be a way, if it works, that you can do student presentations. Or who can start sharing when someone else is sharing. Only the host can kind of jump in there and do that. All right. So we have those options. We have the chat room feature. Here, Monkey's gonna go away. Leave meeting. All right. So chat feature. Actually, I closed out Monkey too soon. Sorry, guys. 354 285 787. There he is. All right. So I wanted to show you this. So you have the option to chat with everyone, or you have the option to chat with only certain people. So I could chat directly with Monkey if I wanted to. Basically, you type in your message, hello everyone, and you can see that this is my message to everyone. If you are messaging directly to Monkey, then it would say from me to Monkey, or Jack, I think is how my phone is labeled. If you click here, you can save the chat. You can allow participants, you can control who participants can chat with. So you can say like, I don't really like the chat feature because I don't really want my classes or my meeting people chatting about me. So I would say no one. But you can say only the host can chat. You can say everyone can publicly chat, or everyone can publicly or privately chat. So that is your options. I would suggest, so people use chats in different ways. One of the ways is if you were hosting a large meeting, you could say like, if anyone has any questions, throw them up in the chat, and then the person leading the meeting can watch the chat. So that's one way. But you have that choice based on your parameters. You also have the option here to stop the recording. You can see we're recording up here because it says recording, not recorder, recording. And so you can pause, stop, and all of that. You also have this really neat breakout room session where you could have individual group. So let's say you have a class of 20 or a meeting of 20, and then you want to do breakout groups. You can assign participants into multiple rooms. You can either have the system assign them, or you can manually assign them. And then you can create your breakout rooms, and then you can assign different people. So there's Monkey to a different breakout room. Never done this before. All right, so you have different options, and then Monkey Monkey just got a notification. The host is inviting you to join breakout room, and then you have a later or a join option. So I don't know if you can see this. Put this in front of my face, probably not. So you're just going to hit join. And then it gives you a little breakout room. And so you can see that I'm right now in the breakout room for Monkey. All right, so as always, I would do a test run before, absolutely needing that. And then you have the option to end meeting. Now, Zoom is defaulted so that whoever's talking, and my phone is picking up me right now, so that's the reason why you're seeing Monkey, is whoever's talking is the person who's in the middle of the screen. You also have the option to hit gallery view. And gallery view has all the little people, so all the people who are in the meeting, they will show up here. So this is a good way that you could do, maybe not attendance, but you can quickly see who's in the meeting without having to go down to participants. But this is another way that you can see who is in the meeting. So if you want to kind of see the whole room, if you kind of want that experience of being able to see whoever's in the room, you can click here on gallery. And now it says click on speaker view. So this is speaker view. This is gallery view. And then I think that's everything I need to go over, but I have the choice to end the meeting for everyone, or we can end the meeting all individually. So if you're ready for everyone to leave the meeting because you want everyone to stop talking, you can end the meeting for all, and then it will cancel out everybody. If you want to just have everyone choose when they leave the meeting, you can click just leave meeting this way. So I'm going to leave the meeting for Monkey. And as you can see, Monkey is no longer in the meeting, and then I'm leaving the meeting too. So I know that this was a very informal, probably too long video about how to use Zoom. But if you have any questions or need someone to help test, just let me know. I really do encourage everyone to download the Zoom app on their phone because it's just kind of a nice option to have it in 2 places. So, all right, good luck, everyone. Let me know if I can be of any help. And Monkey says bye too.